everyone. Good evening and welcome to the show, Breaking the Silence, provided by Soul Survivors of Chicago. If this is your first time coming on, I want to thank you. This is a very special show. If this is not and you're coming back, I just want to say welcome back and love to see you again, and thanks for coming in. Before we get to our guest and talk a little bit about our subject today, I want to put a friendly reminder out about, of course, the documentary that Soul Survivors has produced called While the Children Fade. While the Children Fade, of course, is a documentary that talks about the loss of 3 women who have lost their children by way of suicide. And in this documentary, we were able to show a lot of our stories, give impact on what we experienced, and give really insight to some of the disparities as it relates to, suicide. So with that being said, let's go ahead and go to the trailer and take a look. You know that question people ask, you know where your children are?
It's 10 p.m.
It's 10 p.m.
Do you know where your children are?
I hear that. And I say, yeah, I always know where my child is. He's in a cemetery. His spirit lives with me, but he's in a cemetery.
Everything hard when losing a kid. But suicide is so painful because you're taking your life. You took your life from yourself.
I am 8 years old.
I don't want her to hurt, and I'm thinking like that, my baby, what does she go through?
Suicide among Black youth is a really serious issue and public health crisis right now, simply because people are dying, and they don't have to die.
The part that social media plays, the rates of being bullied, the sense of, I don't belong anywhere, where's my place? That's a lot to deal with as a kid.
The hole in your heart, only you feel. Ain't nothing gonna fill it up.
Wow. So with that, thanks so much. We're really interested in letting everyone know that we're having our world premiere of the documentary While the Children Fade. You can get your tickets on Eventbrite, excuse me. And this will be going on at 2 p.m. this Saturday, June the 22nd. And if you're interested, tickets are just $20. We have a few seats left, and that means that you can get a slot to actually see the virtual premiere. And it's a short documentary that'll follow with question and answers afterwards, so please come and attend. But enough with that. We're going to go ahead and get into our topic today, which is something, of course, that our show is framed around, and it's talking about our loss and silencing the stigma and really giving some information about what we as survivors of loss know, what we want to share, and so forth. So without further ado, I want to welcome Miss Bridgett Steen to the show. Yeah. Bridgett comes to us and is going to share her experiences with loss and talk a little bit about, what we've learned and just gather some information in our conversation today. So welcome so much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for coming.
Thanks for thinking of me.
So we're talking about loss by way of suicide. Mm-hmm. And you experienced a loss by way of suicide, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, last year.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your loss and what you experienced and who was it that you lost?
His name is Sidney. He still is my nephew. Actually, I never called him Sidney. I always called him Auntie's nephew because everybody has a nickname for the most part with me. And he was 20. And he was, just like everybody would always say, he was a great kid, and he was. He would spend the summers with us. He lived in Utah, but he would come up for the summers, and he would stay. He would never want to go back home, so we would have to smile at Daddy, so Daddy would let him stay a little bit longer. He would come at Christmas, so he had gained friends here as well. So when it happened and I posted it, the phone rang from different locations because everybody knew who Auntie Nephew was because I have a home daycare as well. So he was there with the kids and the parents. So everybody, he just blended right in. And I still have not said the word suicide. I always say he just decided he didn't want to be here anymore. So this is the first time I'm actually talking about it out loud, publicly. Normally it's kind of a personal conversation I'm having with someone. But it was sudden. We didn't expect it. He was the kid that was always happy, was always smiling. He was very athletic. He was being recruited in football when he was in high school. They were already looking at him. He was just a great kid. And like most kids, he had his little things that, they want to do, but he wasn't, nobody's perfect, but he was a great kid. And he's Auntie's nephew.
Thank you for sharing that. So since this loss, which has been
A little over a year.
I always say in loss, there is no measurement or no timeline that you can put to it.
Right.
10 days, 10 years, 2 minutes, it all has the same effect in a lot of ways. So that's one of the things that we always want to share at the show. But in this loss, what has grief been like for you? Like, explain to me now that Auntie's nephew has decided no longer to live, what would you share with the audience about what grief has been like? What are some of the things you've experienced in your grief?
Pain, but I realize, and I sometimes have to try to get people to understand that it doesn't matter. Pain is pain. It doesn't matter who you are or where you are. It's pain. And I can't say your pain is different than my pain or my pain is different because I still hurt. And you can't measure it. And you can't measure yours. But you know what that pain is. And I think, like we briefly discussed earlier, the difference is we still move with our pain. For some reason, they couldn't move with whatever that pain was they had. So they chose to leave. So it's different. It's very different because I'm used to him being here or being in Utah, being with his dad. I'm used to and his sisters. I'm used to that, and his kids. I'm used to that. But now the holidays are different. The only thing I always say that's different is that when it's someone elderly or someone that that's sick, they're gonna leave. But when someone chooses to do it, you're not aware. You don't have the front row seat. It pops up.
Yeah. And that's the difference, anticipatory grief, when you're going through a time when someone is declining for health reasons and the prognosis isn't that great.
Right.
You're watching the process go.
Right.
But in this process, this has to do with something that happens suddenly, we believe, and that it's incorporated into that person's thought process to where it becomes like a black tunnel. And I always say, in my experience and what I've learned and what I think about my son, is that there was a dark tunnel that day that nobody could come in but him. And I know in the deep of my heart that he loved me and he loved family. But that tunnel was so deep and that light you couldn't see.
Right.
But the reality is the illusion is the tunnel. The light is real. And that's the thing that happens in these dark circles and stuff. But when speaking about that grief, one of the things you spoke about was pain and having that pain that comes. What are the things that you find to be, or is there anything that helps to be supportive in the pain that you feel? And I know it too, but in your experience that you feel that helps with or supports you in the pain?
I'm a church girl.
Okay.
So, one of the scriptures saying, now you're standing, and all you're doing, get understanding. This is a case we're not going to get the understanding because they have it. So the next one is be empathetic.
Be empathetic.
And whatever it was, we're supposed to bear one another's burdens or trials or do the best we can. So I have to realize that other people are dealing with it. And though that might be the only group that really get it and your close friends. Other people may not. They may just, if it hasn't happened to them, and I hope it doesn't, they just don't get it. But then you have a lot of people that aren't empathetic anyway. So the ones that generally are will get it. They'll at least feel you or feel the pain. They'll feel the loss because they see that you're hurting. So most of my time is with my family. On days when I really miss him, I have a heart with his picture in it. I'll just cut that on. I borrowed the jacket out his dad's closet, and I have that. So, and his picture when he was a baby's in my mirror. But that was always my favorite picture of him, was when he was a baby. So, because he's Auntie's nephew. And I have other nieces and nephews, so don't get me wrong, but this is the one that chose to leave. The rest of them are here, and I am so glad they're here. I love each and every last one of them, and they know it. So, because I wasn't blessed or fortunate enough to have children. So, the nieces and nephews get it all. So, that is my world. If you ask me, I'm talking about one of them, and people are like, why's that? Because I don't have any children. They are my world. Married in or not, you are a part of my world.
Wow.
So that's how I get through with it, because I have the others that still help. That hole will always be there because he's not here. But I still have others to help.
You brought up something that was really interesting, and it's my experience as well, is that there are people that kind of get it, and then there are those that may not get it. And what I think I hear you saying when we say get it is kind of like understand that we're dealing with a very serious loss, a tragic loss, by way that often many of us in the community or in just our families or networks don't talk about.
Right.
Taking or wanting to end our lives.
Right.
And oftentimes it's been so stigmatized that when we get to that point in these subjects, it just becomes like, I don't want to touch it. But the realities and what the studies are showing us, you have to. You must talk about that feeling, because it's okay to not be okay. That's the main thing to know. It's okay to not be okay. But I'm wondering about your experience before the loss of Sydney and now, about what you feel about the big S word, as we call it. What were your thoughts prior to this happening about it, or your beliefs and myths? And now, what is your understanding of it? Or has it been changed? Or
It hasn't. The only change is it's now personal. That's it. Because I didn't have a reference. I didn't need a reference. I didn't want a reference. But now it's personal. We live in a place where there's gun violence, or robberies. So it's not that we're accustomed to it, but you know someone, and you hate the fact that you know someone. But very seldom do we actually know someone that decided, I don't want to be here anymore. And even if they say it, they go do something and they come back. So there was somebody on Facebook that every once in a while he would be going through somewhere and he would be ranting and raving. And I did. I unfriended him because I found what he was doing, because then he would be right back on Facebook 2 weeks later at the party. Well, you don't realize that for my mental health, you have stressed me out completely. And you're not answering the phone, you're not answering the messengers. So I had to remove myself, because that was, so now it's too much for me to deal with someone in that state. But I pray for him constantly, and every once in a while I ask my family member, how is he, have you talked to him? But that's the difference. The difference is we have to be aware of it. And when you see somebody needing help, there's nothing wrong with asking. And there's nothing wrong with admitting, hey, I go to counseling now. So you should check it out too. And then,
I like that. You hear that now. It's nothing wrong with going to counseling.
No, there's
nothing
wrong.
at all. Let's
No.
take that stigma and throw it away.
Yeah, please go.
Yes, yes.
So, and it's helped. It has helped a lot.
Yeah.
I feel better about myself. And I think probably most people need to go or should go. If they
Yeah.
don't need to go, they should go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. They have this old saying, it's okay to talk to friends and family, but go to therapy. Just go to therapy. And I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Not just because I'm a social worker, but because I understand the importance of having someone in your corner to talk to have the support and process your thoughts and your feelings. Yeah, that's really imperative. So, what would you want people to know who don't get it, like you say, about this type of loss? What would you tell them about what you experienced in this 1 year that they might get it, or that what you want them to know?
I want them to know that there is no answer. There is, you can't keep saying why or asking why. Because we're never going to know that answer because we're not the person. But like I said, we have to learn to understand that there was a pain, and in his pain or that person's pain, that's the pain that you've become empathetic to. That's what you feel. But it keeps going because you still wake up every morning and you realize they're not there. So you just want them to understand. It's like, girl, why you get pregnant? I can't answer that. You know, you can answer it because you're pregnant, but I can't answer why he chose to do what he chose to do. I have to accept it, and I have to be able to help as much as I can, reach out to those that I can, speak when I can, even if it's just putting a t-shirt on, or, you know, walking a walk. Do that, do whatever I have to do. And it helps me too. You know, when I put it on, I feel like he's there. I know he's not, but I feel like his presence, like he knows, okay, Auntie, I'm still Auntie's nephew. Because he's always going to be Auntie's nephew. So, but he's just frozen in time now.
Yeah, yeah. You know, in the stages of grief, they talk about, and you've heard before, anger, denial, sadness, man. And you get to this stage called acceptance, and everybody gives it a bad connotation. Acceptance is not accepting the fact that this happened, but accepting that this is my new normal.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But
my
there's
new
one
function.
stage. There's one stage that we don't talk enough about, what you spoke about, and that's meaning. It's a part where you can actually say, I am continuing the legacy of my loved one, whether it be lost like this or something else. So you put pictures up, you do balloon lifts, you do the walks, you do the things that continue to honor them on their birthday or eat their favorite ice cream. You know, that keeps the energy and the support and the understanding that this person is just not one day gone, one day here kind of thing. What do you all do in a family that I know has been really on the forefront, even in this short time, to keep the legacy of Sydney alive? What kind of things do you do? And what would you suggest for people to do when it comes to kind of keeping the legacy of the loved one that's been lost?
Everything you just said.
Okay.
Those are great. Our family, like I said, he was in Utah, so now his family has moved to Vegas. In Vegas, every birthday they have a party. So like last year, he turned 21 right after. So he had a very nice 21st birthday party in Vegas. Here, my sister and I, we do the walkathons. I, like I said, wear t-shirts. I have a bracelet. I put a little sign in the yard. His picture is normally my profile picture. Whenever I, you know, today I want to change it, so it's going to be this picture, but it'll still be him. But right now it's Father's Day, so it's Daddy. But and then Mother's Day was Ma. So it rotates. But that's what we do. We do whatever we have to do. Or I'll talk to his son through his mom. She posts a lot of pictures, so I get to still see him, and I'll post that. So that's the things we do. That's the things we do.
Wow.
To help.
Yeah. And what would you tell a loved one as we wrap up about, and let me say not a loved one, someone in the audience of a youth, and in sharing all that you've shared today, what would be one message or a takeaway you would like them to know about your experience? If they ever become in that dark tunnel we talk about, what would you say from what you've experienced?
Whenever it gets dark, like I said, I'm a church girl, so I believe prayer is first. But if it's that dark and you can't see anything else, there's somebody somewhere in the house. If they're not in the house, you just pick up the phone, and I think it's 988. You can dial a suicide hotline. You can call, talk to them. If you have to, call the police. They have enough to do, but they're not that busy where they can't stop a minute and talk with you until they get there. Or just go outside. Just go outside so you could be with people. Because sometimes we were raised, most of us, that you keep it inside. You keep what's going on in the house. You don't talk about it. But sometimes you have to talk. And that's why a lot of us can't express ourselves, me. So we have to learn to do that. That's why I was part of therapy, because I had to learn to express myself. So you can do it. Just reach for somebody, anybody, and know that tomorrow is going to be different than right now. Right now is not going to always be right now. Another day is coming. As long as we can breathe, the change is very much possible. And it's coming. And you have a purpose. You matter. You were born with a purpose. You matter. Don't let anybody tell you different. You are the most important thing in the world because you were created. You matter. And you're going to do amazing things.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing those powerful words. Those are just right on point. Remembering that you matter. Understanding that therapy helps. Get involved with circles. Continue to keep the legacy of your loved one alive through the memory and memorial of them. Thank you so very much, Bridgett, for coming on. I'm a little emotional.
I was trying not to do that, so don't you do it, because it don't take much.
Because this is such a wonderful, wonderful way to end out our weeks with CAN TV and our show, Breaking the Silence. I hope you continue to follow us at soulsurvivorsofchicago.com. Hashtag Soul Survivors of Chicago. Come on our website. Continue to keep in touch with us, as we would love to as well. And just understand your health is your wealth. Nothing else makes you more richer. By all means, we would love to give honor and glory to Sydney and all those out there who have lost someone by way of suicide trauma. Know that we are here and we are working in behalf of them to keep this understanding that you matter.
You matter.
And with that being said, I bid you a farewell. Have a great day, and God bless.
Blessings and love.
Bye.